wanted to chat with you today because I follow your page, and I've been following Patricia's case for a few years now, and I saw that we'll get into the letter in a minute, but let's just start with, since you brought her remains home, what has life been like? This has sort of been, it seems like a tireless quest for you, trying to put all the pieces together, hasn't it?
It has, but it's also there have been really beautiful parts of the story, and one of the main parts of that story is that my sister's no longer with me here, except for this necklace has a little bit of her ashes in it. So yeah, it was a gift from my children for me. But my sister has been laid to rest next to our mother and our grandparents in our family cemetery in Pennsylvania, and her name is on the stone. And to have the family that I was separated from young, and my daughters, my son, my grandchildren, my husband, and EHPD was there, Captain Murgo was there, Captain Emmerman was there, some other folks from up your way. So that meant a lot.
So now you have, because for so long you never knew what happened. You still kind of don't know what happened, but at least you have the remains, you have the name connected to those remains, and now you have a place where you can go to honor that memory, right?
Oh yeah. Actually, my cousins live very nearby to that cemetery, and it's decorated constantly, so I can now, and it's opened up a thing where now I can make plans to go up and see my cousins, and we'll go to the cemetery together, and it's pretty awesome, actually.
What would your mom say if she was still here and knew what was going on?
I had never seen my mom's headstone before the day we buried my sister, which was in October. And I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. And so it was the first time, my mom died in 1968. So it was the first time since I was, three and a half, since I'd been there. And I was able to say, hey, Mom, got her, did it. So it really closed the loop. I know my mom's been up there cheering us along the whole time. So yeah. Sorry.
No, you're all good. And the whole reason that this case broke, I know, was because of advancements in DNA technology and GEDmatch and the database. So for people who don't know about that, talk a little bit about what ultimately led Patricia to get her name back.
And thank you. I think that's something that's really important, because I didn't know, and things have changed so much, especially, you get people my age, we're maybe not as fluent in new technologies, things like that. And what GEDmatch does is it doesn't cost anything. You can take your DNA data, you can download it from any site that you might be on, Ancestry, 23andMe, mine was on Ancestry, any of those. And you can just download that and you upload it to GEDmatch. Now, I would suggest doing a little check for law enforcement comparisons, but even without that, as a humanitarian thing, it is put in against any unidentifieds. But where it comes in really helpful to check that little box is, let's say your DNA, you have an uncle that you don't even know, which most of us do, I'm sure, that maybe was a killer and committed a crime. And then maybe by having your DNA in there for comparison, you can help another family find closure.
And who kind of tipped you off to even doing that? How did you find out about that?
The Facebook page. There have been, you would not believe the coincidences. A person named Allison Garcia was the first person who told me about GEDmatch, and they're on the page, and she was like, "Oh, this is how you do it and everything, and I'll walk you through it." I didn't find out until a little later that she's my niece's best friend from like second grade. So she's the first person who told me to get into that database. And Colleen Fitzgerald from Identifiers International, who was handling the DNA on that side for the police, she said it was like that to come up because of being in that database.
And can you just maybe bring me back to that moment when you got the call? I don't know if it was from East Haven Police or whoever it was from, saying, "Hey, you might want to sit down for this. There's been a match."
Oh, it wasn't a call. It wasn't a call. East Haven called our local sheriff's department, and I live not far from the sheriff's department, and he spoke to Sullivan County Sheriff Detective Brandon Peters, and Brandon knew who he was talking about because I had put in a DNA for a comparison to the Lady of the Dunes, who has since been solved and is a fellow Tennessean, which is kind of cool. But Detective Peters came up. I live at a dead end. There's like right after my door, I live at a dead end. And I was on the porch, and he came up in his unmarked car, all nice and dressed, and asked if I was me. I said, "Yeah, I'm me," And I'm just thinking, first of all, I was thinking, okay, what are you selling? It wasn't that. And I was like, "I know you." And he said who he was. And well, I thought he just needed something else with that DNA. So I'm, no big deal, right? I get in the car. He says, I have a phone call that I need to make. It's kind of important. Do you want to just sit in my car for a minute? Because my dogs were barking. It was hotter than the 7th level. And yeah, he put Captain Margot and Captain Emmerman was there also on the phone. It was just like, what? It's just unreal. I can't even. 47 years is a long, long time. And then when you unravel everything and you see all the people that have cared about her and what Trisha has meant to so many people over time, and I remember seeing after the fact, because of course I immediately, I go on the internet, I'm going to look up everything I can find that's happened. I saw your reporting, as a matter of fact. And, the first time when the wrong body was exhumed. But you were right back there to cheer them on, to let them know, when the right one was exhumed. And that's pretty amazing.
I appreciate you saying that. And another thing I appreciate was, following your Facebook page that you've created since, and just your tenacity in trying to, find the answers. And, have you gone down many, many rabbit holes, and have there been dead ends that you have hit? Trying
You mean
to
just in the last year, or the 47 preceding? Okay,
I
we'll
guess since
combine
you
it the
started
last
the Facebook
year.
page,
It'll make
yeah.
Yeah, a lot of rabbit holes. The biggest rabbit hole is schools. And I've been searching that for a really long time too. But I thought surely now with investigative agencies involved, with this, that, and the other, we still can't find out what
The
schools.
working theory is she was sent to a boarding school in Monticello, right? Is that still?
The story I was given growing up is that my sister ran away from boarding school. My stepmother, who is the only, my father died in 1980. She's the only person that's alive, and to say we're estranged would be an understatement. Though I did go ahead and contact her during this time. She's still stuck on, she doesn't remember where my sister went to school. She just remembers something about being told, well, if it's somewhere near Monticello. But I anything she says is completely suspect. It's just the way it is.
Gotcha. Okay, so let's kind of get into current day and something, this new development in the letter that you wrote. So, Maryann, do you feel like now, more than any other time, you might be on the cusp of, figuring out who did this to Tricia?
Yeah, I do actually. I never would have written that letter had I not really thought it. And when I say it, really thought about it, I've been thinking about this particular, like you said, it started as a rabbit hole. Well, all the other rabbit holes you back out of because you find out it's a dead end, like you said, or there's something else. I can't find anything to exclude this person, and I am not alone in that.
The person we're talking about is Richard Cottingham,
Correct.
a well-known American serial killer. I mean, there have been, numerous documentaries about him.
Mm-hmm.
What leads you to believe that he's the one who did this?
Well, there are a few reasons why I've not been able to rule him out. One, he liked Catholic schoolgirls. My sister was a good Catholic girl. Another was that he was active during that date range, very active during that date range. He has also now openly said that it was not just New Jersey, it was New Jersey, it was Maryland, it was Connecticut, it was New York, Pennsylvania, anywhere he could drive to. She was, the way my sister was found, she was nude but not violated. He was all about the power and control. And this is, I'm just taking this from interviews of things coming from him, things that he has said in interviews. So that is one of those things that has always hit me as rather odd. But he has said that many times he did not violate his victims. She was found fairly easily. A trucker found her looking out the cab of his truck. Richard Cottingham has said that he would leave his victims where they would be found because he had put some victims in a well, and he had felt badly about thinking about them decomposing. I'm sorry, I'm trying to, there's no way I can say it other than how I say it, right? And he had felt badly about that, and so that he started leaving them where they could be found. Again, this is a Richard Cottingham thing. He also had a history of leaving a lot of bodies near bodies of water.
So, you wrote the letter, and I read it and I found it really interesting because
Okay.
you actually complimented him. I mean, you called him intelligent. You called him charismatic. Those are probably not the words that a lot of people would use if you suspect them of killing, one of your family members. But I'm curious just to know why you used those words and why you wrote that letter the way that you did. It was very I found it to be matter of fact. very matter of fact.
I am actually a very matter of fact person. This man is smart, okay? I want him to let me know. I want him to reply. Would you reply to that letter if you were him? If I came at it from a combative stance? There's nothing in it for him to answer me. He has before spoken to other victims' family members. Do what you have to do, right?
Yep.
That's the best answer I can give you on that one. Did I love that? Did I love doing that? No, I did not love doing that. But
What would a confession mean for you and your family?
for me, let me tell you what I really want. What I want from Richard Cottingham. I want to know where my sister was. That's what I really want to know. And of course, the only one that can tell me that is the person who put her there, right? Or got her from point A and put her in point B. Well, I want to know where point A was. Someday I will have a picture of my sister standing next to somebody smiling. And that's what I want at the end of this. But a confession? If that could help one more family member like me, because he has said 80. That's the number I've heard him say. And he's confessed to what, 5 more in the last. So we know that there are people out there. It would mean a lot. And honestly, I would love that for East Haven PD as well, because they're really rare. Yeah, they are really rare. People say I don't stop. Yeah, they don't stop.
Did he, so he physically got the letter? Do you know that?
I don't know that for sure. Captain Murgo offered to get it to the investigators there in Jersey, who he's been in contact with. And that way they can deliver it through that method. He's definitely
just speaking completely hypothetical. You know, I don't know. What if he said he wanted to meet with you? Would you meet with him?
If I could find a way to afford it, yeah. That would be the hard part, was finding a way to get there and afford it, because I'm in Tennessee and the economy is not pretty, for anybody. But he's not going to do anything to me. The hardest thing to get my head around, excuse me, with this, and when I wrote that letter, was trying to take myself out of it. I had to put that letter, it's not emotional. I had to put the emotional away to write that. And when I say I had to I avoided everything till I sat down and I wrote it. And I was like, okay, fine. Wrote it, did like 1 or 2 revisions. That was it. I was like, I can't do anything. Grammar, anything, I don't care.
And you dealt with the emotion of it in private on your own later.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to, I have had to take the emotion out of it. And if I had to sit across from him and take the emotion out, well, that's what you did.
So Maryann, obviously, it's a waiting game, and there's no obligation that he's ever going to respond back. But you're waiting for that day, and you're not the only one. I mean, as you full well know, there are countless cold cases in Connecticut, across the country, people just like you, who are digging for answers, waiting for answers. And I'm just curious, I'm sure you've spoken to a lot of other families, but what's your message to them? What do you say to them, when they kind of reach those moments where there is no hope, or they feel like that?
Well, whether it's somebody new, like you've got Jennifer Santinello and Holland Snap here in East Tennessee, who are recently missing, or you go like in Connecticut, I'm more familiar with, you've got Lisa White, Janice Puckett, you know, Packet. Why I say Puckett? And I'm friends with their sisters. They've been waiting a really long time. And it's comforting to know that we're in a world now where things are possible that weren't possible then. I don't know if you can see what my shirt says, but it says everything. Hope. You just hope. And when you feel that voice saying do it, just do it. And you also got to stop caring what other people think, because I understand, and by letting you have that letter, that it could be perceived as very cold and emotionless. And I'm dealing with a psychopath. I mean, I'm not gonna like hard on the sleeve it with this guy. Really. I don't think that's a really good, safe, emotional position for me to, this is what I want. Can you help me?
Right. No, I totally get it. All right. Well, those are the questions I have for you. Is there anything else you want to say that you think is important?
Just to, when you see those missing photos on your Facebook feed or whatever, share them, because all you need is that one set of eyes. And someday I'm going to find that one set of eyes that saw my sister, that knew my sister. And if it matters to anybody, there is hope out there. It can happen. 47 years doesn't have to be that long for everybody anymore. Just get it into GEDmatch. Be in the right places.